Garage. I'm driving one of the coolest cars you can imagine. And I am surrounded by automobile art. Everywhere I look, up and down this stretch, and we're gonna end up down the street here, gonna get a cool view of what life's all about. So you guys stick around. This is gonna be one of the funnest days I'm gonna have in quite a while. Hey, all across America, you got car clubs. These guys are coming together on weekends after work. These car clubs become families after a while. Today, we're with the Factory 5 family. So we're gonna check out where the heart and soul came from, where the beginnings started. So come along, we're gonna check out the inside. Now, some guys are builders, and some guys are drivers. Now, you can see this thing has been through almost a war. Now, John is, what, 3rd place, NASA Series, Challenge Spec car, for top in the country, right?
Yep.
And you just love getting out there every weekend and ripping it up?
Yeah, it's fun actually. The series is all spec. It's all driver skill that gets you up front, I guess. The car has the guts from a Mustang. And you just put it in here and pull down everything and go racing.
Yeah, what's cool about this series is you can get in for very low dollars. You're not racing a guy with a bigger wallet. You got a donor Mustang, and next thing you know, you're like head-to-head with all the other guys on the field. It's a great way to get out there and literally burn a lot of rubber off the tires and go have a good time. All right, I had to meet Gary, because Gary's on what, how many cars?
This is my 10th, and that's my 11th car over there.
No, you would think after building one, maybe a different model, you'd be done. What makes you keep going?
You know, every time I build them, most of the fun is in creating them, and then I come up with these different ideas on what would I do the next time, and then I usually get offered money or something for the car, and then I'm like, you know, let's do it again. Building the car is, if I had to buy one, it wouldn't be any fun, completed. It's just, the fun is in building.
Well, I can definitely tell you're having fun, and I want to have some fun. He's promised me to let me drive some of these cars. I'm going to take them up.
Oh, we're going to have a good time, that's for sure.
Man, I should be careful I don't drool on some of these cars. And we're at Factory 5. We're in their showroom where we get to see pretty much all their products. Hey, Dave, this
Kevin.
is the guy that started everything. He's the guy that makes it all happen. And you saw outside, we got a lot of good eye candy. Fit and finish is awesome, but Dave's going to show us a little bit about what's underneath, what really makes the soul of these cars.
Right, how we make them. I mean, a lot of people can make a pretty car. And what set Factory 5 apart was chassis design, suspension, chassis, and really computer design. It started, and I can show you over on the chassis, back really in the early 90s. CNC revolution, laser cutting, being able to design something on a computer and test it on a computer. And then when you go to manufacturing, it's a matter of reducing it to practice. So, you know, here's one of our chassis, and you can see it's really a space frame design. We designed it on SolidWorks software. It's 3D designed, and you know, from a performance standpoint, it's extremely light, but it's very rigid. So it delivers a lot of performance that a lot of customs didn't have.
And that's really what the heart of the car is a stiff frame. You get a spring in there, and now you can't dial in your suspension. Let the springs be at the corners. Let this be a solid piece. You've got plenty of safety. You've got the chassis with the running gear on it. And now you can put that beautiful body on it and make it a complete car.
It makes it fun, too, because we're in our 9th year. Next year's our 10-year anniversary of our race series. And when you race, racers are very demanding. The car either works or it doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't win. And so I can show you, we can go back to the welding shop, and I can show you how we design the tooling and the jigs and fixtures, and not just how we make the stuff, but also how we make the stuff.
Oh, I'm excited, because I'd love to see how you guys put these together.
Right on.
All right, let's go check it out. Yeah, now this is a real jig. Now you guys have seen us do temporary jigs on the show. You know, Brian's building his hot rod, but this is a full-on dedicated piece of hardware. I mean, this precisely puts everything where it's supposed to be, right?
Well, I mean, that's one of the advantages of our company is, you know, we're making all this stuff in the United States. So every piece of steel that we sell, we make here.
Awesome.
All of these parts are precision cut. Hey, Kev, you want to grab me a part, Kev? All of these parts are laser cut in advance, and then they're drop welded into this chassis jig. So the jig, why don't you show Kevin here? This is Kevin. These parts here have laser cut tabs already put in them. So when we're making a mount, the pieces go together pretty accurately. Now the advantage when you're doing this is your scrap rate is 0. And when you're making stuff in today's economy, we pay our welders good wages. You know, we're an American company. We got to be really smart about how we do stuff. So we're reinforcing American labor with really good technology.
That's cool. I mean, so you got jigs, and not only the jigs help
Thanks,
locate, special features like that turn this into sort of a precision manufacturing chassis build.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the challenge. You know, we can make cars one at a time and do it slowly. Your cost will be twice as much. Whereas when we make stuff using high technology, we're using modern craftsmanship, but we're still making it in the United States. So these parts here, like, you know, you have a control arm from the hot rod. There's laser cut steel plates, round tubing that's precision cut, and parts that are dropped into a computer designed jig. And then these parts, this is your front cantilevered control arm for the hot rod.
So that's the quality and repeatability and that end product that when you look out on the street or in the showroom, all that fit and finish, I mean, it's pretty obvious. But you're going to feel that, you know, in the way the car drives, the way it handles,
Absolutely.
You know, and how long it's going to last.
Yeah, variability is the enemy. Even on bending, you know, we'll put the tick marks in the steel so that when you bend it, you know exactly where you're bending it. That's still a structurally part, but having this the same every time is really important. And when we go through our shop, you know, we've got 4 chassis jigs for the Roadster and the Coupe and the Hot Rod and the mid-engine GTM, and then rotisseries really along the side where the finish welding's taking place.
Sure.
But when you have high tolerance steel in tight tolerance jigs, assembly welded by certified welders, you end up with a product that's really reproducible and reliable, and then when you go on the street, they all drive the same.
And to be honest with you, I mean, I fabricate a lot on my own too. There's no way to get fitment that tight, and anybody who's welded anything, you put a gap between 2 pieces and weld it, and that weld will shrink, and everything starts to move, and all the suspension points aren't where you thought they were going to be, and I mean, there's just no way for even myself without this kind of jig to build something of that high quality.
Right, and also your costs go up when you're grinding and deburring and fitting things over and over. These are laser cut parts that are dropped in and welded right the first time.
I like it.
Well, let's check out the molding here. I'll show you how we make the composite parts.
Sure. Well, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to check out the fiberglass and body side of things.
I've completed the major body work on my car, but need to do detailed sanding to give me a really smooth finish for painting. What's the best product for this? Should I do this by hand or with a power tool? When you get to this point, you need a really fine abrasive to take out the grind marks, old coatings, and any remaining rust. A 90-degree grinder will be your best tool, and you'll find that fine to very fine 3M roll-lock discs work really well for this. It has a non-woven webbed surface that provides a burr-free finish and is heat-resistant for high temperatures. This tip is brought to you by 3M Car Care, performance-driven solutions. This segment of Two Guys Garage is brought to you by Satisfied Brake Products, North America's leading independent manufacturer of friction technologies. Look to Satisfied for all of your stopping needs.
All right, we get a lot of questions about welding around here. We'll try to answer a couple. First one we got is from Michael G. I'd like to know when one is welding on a late model car with onboard computers, are there any special precautions that need to be taken? Anytime you work on a car, go ahead and pull the negative terminal of the battery. That way you're not getting it running through your whole system. Just to be safe, it's the best way to go. Now, if it is a late model with an onboard computer, just reach under the kick panel. Usually you can pull that and unplug the computer. Just to be safe, it's just a good idea. The next question we have is from Robert S. He said, I'm looking for an intermediate MIG welder. What would you suggest for framework and other steel work? What I would suggest, if you can afford it, get a 220 welder. This is a 110, which you can use to do some framework, probably 1/8 to 1/4 inch max. But if you can afford it, step up to the 220. Now, another thing is you want to make sure you get your metal good and clean. I'm going to show you an example now. When I went in here, the setting on this said put it on 5. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a little. Now that sounds terrible, and it looks terrible. What you're looking for is more of a bacon sound. Now I'm going to turn down the feed, and what that's going to do is not push as much wire into the piece. That's why it's doing that thing. I'm going to turn it over, go ahead and try to run a little bit of a bead here. Now that's the sound you want. Nice and smooth, just sounds like bacon. Now what I'm doing, I'm rolling it back and forth. That coming forward and back builds a little bit of heat, make the bead. Build a little heat, make the bead. That way you get the nice stack of dimes is what they call it. And that's pretty good with a 110 welder onto the 1/8" steel. That looks pretty good. So hopefully that gives you a couple tips.
Now this is either a really cool snow sled or maybe I'm guessing a roadster hood.
Yeah, well, it's a hot rod hood, and just like in the welding area where we have technology that helps our guys build good parts, in the molding area, we've got a CNC cutting machine that's cutting basically glass cloth, carbon fiber, headliners, carpeting material. It's cutting the patterns that drop into these molds. Then our guys are rolling these molds out. They're using vinyl ester resin. They're rolling the parts out, make sure there's no voids. And then when this part cures, we're gonna kick it, pull it, and put it in the robot to trim.
Nice. What's cool is you guys have these technologies. It's really enabling the craftsman to do his job better. That's
right.
That's
well,
awesome.
I mean, the truth is that you can have all the best technology in the world, but at the end of the day, our welders are welding the parts. The technology just makes it easier.
Right.
On the CNC cutting side, and especially on the robot trimming side, the parts are more consistent. They fit better, but at the end of the day, someone's got to roll it out perfect. So this is American labor, and we're really proud of it.
Cool. I'm excited. Let's go see some more.
Let's go see chassis assembly.
Right on. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're going to see some chassis assembly. Hey, welcome back. We're at Factory 5 Racing, and we're in the chassis assembly. We're pretty much at the very end of what you guys do here, right?
Yep.
I see a lot of panels here. Tell me what's going on.
Well, back in the day, an old kit car was a platform frame with fiberglass plopped on top of it. We have a space frame. So what we're doing is we're taking pieces of aluminum that are laser cut, and we're bending and forming them and putting them to make the foot boxes, the engine bay, the trunk, the cockpit. Basically, I'll show you how they work.
Now, as a guy at home, he's going to get all these pieces just boxed up. Has he got to figure out where they go?
Right, that's a good point. I mean, if we gave you 80 pieces of aluminum in a box, you'd want to kill us trying to build this car. So what my guys do is they come in, and once again, these are CNC parts. So their bend marks are already in the aluminum. Cool. They're bending them, forming them, and positioning them with Tech screws. So now you've got your foot box. This is a coupe model. You get your foot box, your cockpit, your trunk area, splash guards. These get put on, then the body goes on, and that goes over to shipping.
For a regular guy, this could take a long time to get this all to fit.
Yeah,
but it comes out of the box looking just like this.
Yeah, Josh and Fred do this for everybody, and that way the guys know where the parts go, and they're lined up really nice. So you can see the interference fit is pretty tight.
Oh, that's awesome. So this is about pretty much the end of the line here. You guys are going to box some stuff up, or what happens now?
Right, now that's the chassis part of the kit. Now on top of this, remember, we don't do running gear, but we do everything else. That means the seats, the interior, the gauges, the fuel lines, the brake lines, the battery lines, the trim, the headlights, all the rest of the car,
all that
and that's
stuff
put
you
in
can be
packaging.
chasing for months or even years to try to put together.
Yeah.
Cool, well, I think that's about it. I think it's time to be driving something.
Let's go hit it.
All right, that's what I heard.
Good deal.
Cool. Stay tuned, we're gonna go hit the road.
My manual transmission doesn't shift smoothly. What can I do? We'll show you how after the break. My manual transmission doesn't shift smoothly. What can I do? Internal components can have a lack of fluid lubrication on the sliding surfaces. Z-Max's micro lubrication soaks into those tight areas and gets lubrication back into those sliding surfaces. Using Z-Max in your transmission will keep it cooler and provide smoother operation. This tip is brought to you by Z-Max. Performance you can feel.
Dave's hooked me up with this sweet roadster. So this is gonna be my ride for the cruise. I get to be part of the gang. So you guys get to ride along with me. This is a cruise. You got a whole family right here. Everybody's excited. Everybody's a total gearhead, a car fanatic. A better way way to spend an afternoon than going on a cruise with a bunch of your buddies. Mine too. Hey, I wonder how hard Brian's working back at the shop, because I can tell you what, I'm not working at all except to keep this grin from wrapping around my head. We're taking the town of Plymouth, Massachusetts over by storm. We're right here at Plymouth Rock, where the Pilgrims came over and helped get this party rolling.
Coming into Plymouth today was incredible. Everybody stops, and it's a car show everywhere we go.
Same people hanging out with the same interests. They all work on them. Most people, you know, they're asking questions. You know, what'd you do here? What'd you do on the clutch, the engine, the brake? You know, whatever. It's a lot of fun.
You'll see one or two on the road, but when you see 20 or 30 together, it's kind of impressive.
Coming to here when we were doing skids all over here.
Dad wasn't doing skids.
That was the
he?
people in front of us.
Yeah, and you.
Dad! Oops. We got the Mayflower. Pilgrims came over, started all this just years ago. It was a scenic drive the whole way from the shop down here.
Awesome time.
One of the best days I've had in a long time.
Good fun.
It was cool checking out the shop, how they make them, but I actually enjoyed the drive like this much better.
Well, it's fun to build the car, but when you put the proof in the pudding is when you drive them.
Yeah, now speaking of driving, they got some shifter carts back at your shop.
It creates some mayhem.
Yep, so we're gonna stick around. A lot of the guys and the ladies are doing some shopping, grabbing some bites to eat. I think we're gonna stick around for a little bit and then go go-kart.
Alrighty.
Let's do it.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speedtv.com or visit TwoGuysGarage.com. This tip is brought to you by LMC Truck. Protect your custom paint job or project truck with an LMC truck cover. This will help you protect your truck from acid rain, harmful UV rays, and sticky tree sap. The durable synthetic fabric will not stretch or shrink over time. An elastic is sewn into the front and rear hems to ensure a snug fit. In the summer, a cover will keep your interior cooler and protect it from fading. In winter, it can keep the snow and ice off your glass and finish. LMC truck covers are available in 3 levels of protection and will actually pay for themselves by reducing the number of times you need to wash or wax your vehicle. This tip is brought to you by LMC Truck. With over 30,000 truck parts in stock, you can get the right part at the right price right now.
Oh, look at there.
There she goes.
That is amazing.
There's a lot of fun you can have with just a finger, but if one finger's not enough, you can have a whole glove.
That's right. This is the Turn Pro magnetic finger. And these are great if you want to get up under a dash. Say you drop some nuts down like in between your seat area, get down in there, whoop, you may end up with a whole handful if you go dig around my shop.
Yeah, how many times have you lost that fastener you needed or just couldn't get it started up there in the tight spot? This guy will work on any of your ferrous metals, which is pretty much most of the fasteners you're going to be working with.
Steel mainly, obviously.
Yeah, and if you want to be wrenching around, you want a full glove, you've got the full glove here, and it still has the, magnetic finger feature. So you can be, cranking around and just go grab that fastener and do that delicate maneuver.
And let's just face it, it's just one more tool in your arsenal that you get to show off with when people come over. Like, hey, oh, you got that problem? Let me take care of that for you. All right.
It's always good to look cool in your garage.
The Turn Pro magnetic finger. Now, speaking of fasteners, we've already got these out. These are the Stage 8 mechanical locking fasteners.
Yeah, these are for your oil pan. Now, the worst thing you can do is crank those oil pan bolts too much, and you'll split your gasket. You're going to have, oil leaks out of your pan. And these are nice because they've got actually a big flange, spread the load out. Usually you got a lot of sheet metal pans out there.
but then you can lock it down without having to crank your bolt too tight.
So you get your torque spec, put on your clip. These are made in USA. They've got rolled threads. They're a grade 8 fastener. They've got a double nickel coating on there that makes them nice and shiny, so they're pretty. And just a good solid fastener, and you never have to worry they're going to fall off.
Yeah, it's a stage 8 locking fastener. Check out their website. They've got applications for just about everything, and they're going to hold your stuff, giving you the right torque without falling apart or leaking.
Always good. Keep your parts where your parts are supposed to be. All right, next thing we got is from Blue Magic, and this is their metal polish. This has been a big secret for a lot of shops over the years. It really gives you a good high quality shine. So you've got mag wheels, you've got all kinds of aluminum, stainless parts that you want to polish up.
Yep, all of your basic metal, chrome, even fiberglass. It's good for fiberglass. Get a little rag, start to polish it out. You get a little black film after a while.
Yeah.
Buff it out. Everything's going to be nice and shiny.
Yeah, these have a good high silicone content in them, so it gives you that good durable finish there at the end. Fills in some of those scratches so you don't see them. Gives you a real high, nice luster. It's a really good product.
Best way to polish up your hot rod, your boat, or whatever you've got out there from Blue Magic.
Blue Magic. All right, next thing we got is from Strut Masters. Look at the size of that baby.
That is a strut.
Now this one is for Mercedes, and they have all kinds of models. You go on their website, and basically any car you've got, from the Lincolns, the Mercedes,
Navigators, Explorers,
Cadillacs.
Expeditions, I mean, and
if you've got an airbag that goes out, this is going to be a way to replace it. They've got a lifetime warranty. It's going to be much cheaper than what you would pay at the factory for a factory part, and it's just a really great way to replace that.
yeah, it's good for life of the vehicle that you've got, so it's definitely the way to go if you got to replace any of the struts on your car. You know, lifetime warranty from Strut Masters. So with that, we're out of time. I hope you guys enjoyed the Factory 5 tour. I know I had a blast.
Where was I, man? Where was the invite?
All right, next time. Next time. You're on the top of my list. See you guys.